must step up as leaders in desperate need of healing and repair to begin to have the difficult conversations about a future which we must be better prepared for in order to avoid further devastation.
President Buhari expresses Nigeria's readiness to become a global hub for manufacturing of vaccines and pharmaceuticals. Rishi Sunak becomes UK's third Prime Minister in 3 months after winning the Conservative leadership votes. The 55th session of a State House executive briefing highlights major achievements in transportation sector. Welcome to the news desk at 6 on NTA News 24. We're live in Abuja, Nigeria's capital city. I am Musbat and Wahab with the news. Nigeria is ready to become a global hub for sustainable manufacturing and distribution of vaccine and biological pharmaceuticals in support of a far-reaching measures towards keeping all of mankind safe. Speaking at the first World Bio Summit in Seoul, South Korea, President Muhammadu Buhari, however, made a case for speedy take-off of the mRNA vaccine technology projects, which he described as critical to global health security. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo has the details.
The summit with the theme, The Future of Vaccines and Biohealth, is jointly organized by the government of South Korea and the World Health Organization, with hundreds of health experts and global enterprises in attendance. It provides a rare opportunity for productive engagement on ways to boost global cooperation in the development of vaccines in preparation for future pandemics, reflecting on lessons learned from COVID-19. Already, the Republic of Korea is hosting WHO's first global training hub for biomanufacturing, which President Yoon Suk-yeol promised will be a game changer.
We hope that this world-class training center will help to build crucial capacity in the production of vaccines and biologics in countries around the world. And Your Excellency, President Buhari's presence will help in strengthening the cooperation between high and low and middle income countries.
I am confident that dynamic leaders like yourselves who are present here can catalyze partnership to take the future of vaccine and biohealth to soaring new heights. Let us work together to realize a better future for all.
For President Muhammadu Buhari, the summit most importantly opens up global conversation at high levels of government on measures that are expected to forestall recurrence of the unpleasant experiences that low and middle income countries in Africa and Asia in particular had to endure with regard to access to vaccine during the COVID-19 pandemic.
COVID-19 actually threatened and continues to threaten all of mankind with no regard for race, region, or economic standing. We must step up as leaders in desperate need of healing and repair to begin to have the difficult conversations about a future which we must be better prepared for in order to avoid further devastation to our lives, livelihoods, and physical environment.
The president, who takes pride in the concerted efforts by the Nigerian government to mitigate the impact and curtail the spread of the virus on the nation's health systems, described as welcoming the mRNA technology transfer project as a strategy towards increasing vaccine production capacity in underserved regions and thus promoting global health security. Nigeria is one of the 6 African countries selected to host the mRNA vaccine technology transfer hub to scale up the production and access to vaccines for COVID-19 and other diseases in the low and middle-income countries.
Nigeria is ready and able to offer itself for this initiative. We shall continue to explore bilateral, multilateral, and other opportunities for cutting-edge technology as a global hub for sustainable manufacturing and distribution of vaccine and biological pharmaceuticals to support initiatives to keep all of mankind safe.
President Buhari said with the mRNA technology, diseases that have plagued sub-Saharan Africa and the third world countries for centuries, especially malaria, Ebola and Lassa fever, would be addressed.
We would like to urge for the speedy takeoff of this project in the interest of global health security.
While pledging Nigeria's full commitment and support to the noble objectives of the Bio Summit, the President hopes that this courageous partnership will be sustained for the sake of mankind. From Seoul, South Korea, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
Meanwhile, President Muhammadu Buhari has attributed the devastating effects of flooding being experienced in parts of the country this year to the negative fallout of climate change. This was while granting audience to the former United Nations Secretary General Ban Ki-moon on the sidelines of the first World Bio Summit in Seoul, South Korea. State House correspondent Adamu Sambu once more reports.
The former UN Secretary General, who is the chair of Ban Ki-moon Foundation for Better Future and strong advocate for climate change remediation, is here to sympathize with President Muhammadu Buhari over the catastrophic flooding affecting most parts of Nigeria. He told the president that his global center on adaptation is trying to mobilize resources to help developing countries fight climate change and urge donor countries to fulfill their financial commitments to the Global Fund. Mr. Ban Ki-moon thanked the president for attending the World Bio Summit, saying his presence would highlight the importance of global action and cooperation in the development of vaccines and technology to meet the huge threat and challenges of pandemics. President Buhari, who appreciated the former UN scribe for the show of sympathy, expressed delight with the cooperation existing between his country and the Republic of Korea, especially in the area of energy, citing gas exports to the Asian country. Describing education and healthcare development as critical investments for a sustainable future, the president and his guests also discussed the role of gender equality towards attaining a prosperous society and called for an end to the war in Ukraine. From Seoul, South Korea, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
Away from South Korea, Rishi Sunak has become the UK's third Prime Minister in 3 months after winning Conservative leadership votes on Monday. In his first speech as Prime Minister, Sunak promised to unite the nation facing a profound economic crisis and acknowledged mistakes were made by his predecessors. Sunak is now expected to begin appointing new cabinet figures in yet another reshuffle at the top of British politics. Rishi Sunak is the first non-white person and first Hindu to lead Britain. For many, his win signals a victory for British diversity, but others doubt his policy will benefit underrepresented people. Before entering politics, Sunak worked as an analyst at Goldman Sachs and a partner at billionaire Chris Huhn's Children's Investment Fund Management. He was privately educated in the UK and studied philosophy, politics and economics at Oxford. Like 4 prime ministers and dozens of senior political figures before him, followed later by an MBA at Stanford University. Talks continue on the infrastructural support and institution of reforms in the transportation sector under the present administration, as it is adjudged that achievements over the last 7 years, especially in the key areas of port administration and reforms, have led to an upsurge in economic activities in the sector and in the Nigerian economy. This was observed at the 55th session of the State House executive briefing organized by the Presidential Communications Team. State House correspondent Gideon Ifade tells us more.
Young, vibrant and full of energy, and these are what is injecting into the operation of the Nigerian ports to transform them through critical policies and incentives, and in supporting the vision of the Buhari administration on developing critical infrastructure. His name is Mohammed Bello Koko, Managing Director of the Nigerian Ports Authority, who at today's executive briefing of the press stands behind the podium outlining these key reforms.
We have rehabilitated the control towers in Tinkan, Apapa, Warri Port, and then we're also going to begin the rehabilitation of other control towers so that we upgrade the communication system. Currently, Nigerian Ports Authority, in the past few years since the advent of the Muhammadu Buhari administration, have automated a lot of our systems. We have the revenue invoice management system, which enables us to raise invoices automatically without, not manually. That has improved collections. It has reduced wastages. It has reduced fraud in the system.
On deepening the competitiveness of the ports, there was the need to aggressively pursue the program of rehabilitation of ports, some of which are several years old, and which will involve modernization and the development of new ports.
We ensured, like I had mentioned, the certification of the ports of in the east. So the ports of Tinkan and the ports of Calabar and One are now ISO certified and will ensure the other port locations are also certified. The Lekki port concept has been there for so long, but it was this administration that pushed construction to restart. It was this administration that also ensured that construction is concluded.
The managing director also speaks on collaboration between the authority and other departments and agencies, and after a barrage of questions from journalists, Mohammed Bello Koko returns to join his team to further continue the development of the ports and execute the vision of being the maritime logistic hub for sustainable port services in Africa. In the State House, Jide Onifade, NTA News.
The federal government has commended the Zamfara state government for prioritizing the poor and vulnerable in its development agenda, especially its support in the implementation of the Nigeria COVID-19 Action Recovery and Economic Stimulus NG Cares program in the state. National Coordinator of the Federal Care Support Unit, FSSU, of the World Bank Assisted NG Cares program, Dr. Abdul Karim Obaje stated this in Gusau when he led the federal team of NG Cares to the state on the implementation, support, mission and advocacy visit to the state governor Bello Matawalle. The national coordinator noted that the 2.6 billion naira budget support the Zamfara state government injected into the NG Cares program is yielding results, adding that the state is one of the highest funders of NG Cares activities in the country. Governor Bello Matawalle restated the state government's commitment to alleviating poverty in the state, stressing that such development programs have a positive impact not only on the economy of the state but also on security. Scientists from the West Africa sub-region have converged on Abuja to discuss the program of ongoing research on the potentially deadly Lassa fever, which is a health burden in some African countries, including Nigeria. The scientists are from Nigeria, Republic of Benin, Guinea, Liberia, and Sierra Leone, brought together by the Nigeria Center for Disease Control, NSCDC, and Coalition for Epidemic Preparedness Innovation, have been sharing experiences on prevention, management, and possibilities of having a Lassa fever vaccine in the near future.
of Lassa fever cases worldwide. So if they need answers from anywhere in the world, then that answer really needs to come from us.
The research tries to look at the mode of transmission, the chain of transmission. If we can better understand this, that way we can be able to, implement infection prevention and control measures.
We have to go on pushing the fight against Lassa fever and try to get the vaccine. This is the only preventive mean to do with Lassa fever.
Nigeria has the problem for 50 years, but I hope by 2030 we have a licensed vaccine for Nigerians.
Lassa fever is an animal-borne viral illness spread by rodents such as rats. As at 16th of October 2022, the Nigeria Center for Disease Control indicates that 26 states have recorded at least one confirmed case across 105 local government areas of Nigeria, and 173 deaths have been reported. This is the news desk at 6 on NTA News 24. More reports still ahead. Stay with us.
Dr. Wada was not made overnight. It's been years and years of labor. But if you have a young doctor now, he wants to be Dr. Wada in 2 days or 3 days. It doesn't work that way.
Their struggles.
I'm just so happy that God used me to give hope to Ali, because without us, Ali would have been dead by now. And I'm sure there are over 1,001 other Alis out there that we don't even know.
Their stories.
I am elected and I swore to defend everybody that is resident within Plateau State. I'm not the chief security officer of my tribe or a religion. I'm chief security officer of everybody.
Their wins.
I walked into NTA. Fidelis Abiki hears my voice. He says, my friend, has anybody auditioned you before? And I said, no, you need to go to the studio. We need to employ you as a staff of NTA. I was excited. I want to be a bro.
This is still News Desk at 6 on NTA News 24. Federal government has inaugurated a 13-man presidential committee to review the number and strategy for resourcing Nigeria's foreign missions. Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Boss Mustafa, charged the committee to also ascertain the level of indebtedness or resourcefulness of a nation's diplomatic missions abroad. Mitaire Ikwen reports.
The state of affairs of Nigerian diplomatic missions, which are more than 100 around the world, has been reported as critical for some time now. Many of the foreign missions are faced with multifaceted challenges, including funding, leading to an alarming scale of indebtedness that is taking a toll on Nigeria's image abroad. Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Boss Mustafa, notes that attempts by previous governments to reduce the number of foreign missions and authorize concurrent accreditations to save costs have not addressed the root problems. To deal with the challenges holistically, government has assembled this 13-man committee of top diplomats, accomplished technocrats and seasoned administrators, serving and retired, to chart the way forward.
Determine the current number, categories of Nigeria's diplomatic missions, identify and categorize the revenue generation capacity of missions, identify cost-cutting measures and other steps that need to be taken to drastically reduce costs of running Nigeria's foreign missions, review human resource management systems and practices in Nigeria's foreign service, and make appropriate recommendations on how to improve it in a sustainable manner.
The committee has 3 months to deliver on its terms of reference and report back to government.
I wish to affirm our readiness to do all within our capacity to fulfill the demands of the faith and confidence reposed in us by Mr. President. We understand the weight of expectation accompanying the task we have been given.
The assignment requires diligence, expertise and collaboration as Nigeria seeks to develop workable strategies to positively rebrand its image on the global stage. In Abuja, Mitaire Ikwe, NTA News.
As Nigeria prepares for another general elections, the issue of constitutional review in order to give more powers to elected deputy leaders dominated the opinions shared by top political figures in Nigeria. At a book launch in Abuja, Vice President of Nigeria, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, identified cordial working relationship among leaders as key to effective governance. Salihu Guanara reports.
I'm away, I'm on leave. You are supposed to do your job. Leave me out of this. Do whatever you want to do.
Vice President Yemi Osinbajo, while sharing his experience as a vice to President Muhammadu Buhari, considered himself fortunate in having a matured, experienced and generous president. An experience many, mostly the actors with similar experiences, said is difficult to find among the leaders and their deputies.
Being political number two is important because political office is about the lives of millions of people, not just about the prestige of office. As Umar Ganduje says, is that the deputy or vice must be up to the task every day. He must be the most hardworking in the government, bringing his own skills and talents in representing the principal as efficiently and as effectively as possible every single day.
The 15 chapters book titled Deputizing in Governance, authored by the Kano State Governor Abdullahi Umar Ganduje, was unveiled by political gladiators, including former President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, who believe it is an insightful contribution.
But there are some states, then, I don't know now, that the deputy governor has no power to even approve 100,000 to move and even represent the governor in even issues of national interest. These are areas, great areas that really need to be looked at. And this rampant impeachment of deputy governors is another great area.
It would seem that in the Nigerian context, in significant contrast to the USA, the primary criteria in the choice of a deputy is what can be called a marriage of convenience for winning elections. In such a situation, conflicts and disagreements emerge almost immediately after winning the elections.
Another motive behind this publication is to use proceeds from the book launch to support a charity organization dedicated to selfless service to humanity.
Parts of the reforms being targeted is to encourage political parties to allow the nomination of aspirants alongside their deputies, who will together be elected or nominated to become candidates. In Abuja, Saliu Guanara, NTA News.
You have been watching Beneath Desk at 6 on NTA News 24. Here's another look at our major stories.
We must step up as leaders in desperate need of healing and repair to begin to have the difficult conversations about a future which we must be better prepared for in order to avoid further devastation.
President Buhari expresses Nigeria's readiness to become global hub for manufacturing of vaccines and pharmaceuticals. Rishi Sunak becomes UK's third Prime Minister in 3 months after winning the Conservative leadership votes. 55th session of State House Executive Briefing highlights major achievements in transportation sector.
This is NTA News 24.
The age of 50 is no doubt a significant milestone which attracts well-wishers. This was the scenario as friends, family members and well-wishers joined the senior legislative aide to Chief Whip of the Senate, Chief Emeka Nwala, who commemorated his 50th birthday in grand style. Olusheye Hadiagbo was there in our reports.
It began with a Thanksgiving service at the Apostolic Church FCT Feed Kubwa in Abuja, where friends, family and associates converged to honor Emeka Nwala, a lawyer, father and senior legislative aide to the chief whip of the Senate, Orji Uzor-Kalu.
I'm a product of the church. My school fees, everything paid by church. That's why I can never leave the church.
In his sermon, Apostle John Bozo explained that Thanksgiving was a mandate from God to return all glory to Him in all circumstances.
That men may praise the Lord for His goodness and for His wonderful works to the children of men.
It is a mandate that the celebrants understands, being born to an apostle himself, joined by family members and associates.
We cover the family with the blood of Jesus.
The person who holds on to the Lord will never miss the mark. Let him continue his faith and trust in the Lord. He will make it.
As he marks his 50th anniversary, we wish him long life, prosperity.
Advice to him is for him to continue to put his trust in God, because it's only God that has brought him this far.
At a reception for guests, senior members of the National Assembly joined the Chief Whip of Senate, who was the special guest of honor.
Happy birthday to you.
He's a very hardworking young man, and I ask him to continue being nice, being committed to his job, and he will go far.
I've asked him to keep on the good work he's doing, to be humble as he is. Let him maintain that status, and the sky is his limit.
And I thank my parents who brought me in a godly way, and most especially also thank Senator Joseph Carlos' family. In this my world, wherever I am now, the level everybody is that family. The family name has been leading me, getting businesses, getting anything with genuinity and trust.
Senator Orji Uzor-Kalu later inaugurated the new house built by the celebrants, a fitting way to climax such a memorable day. In Abuja, Olusheye Adiagbo, NTA News.
And that concludes Venice Desk at 6 on NTA News 24. Thank you for watching it. Remember to always play your role as NTA continues to campaign against rape and rapists. I am Musbad and will have join us again at 7 for NTA International News.